Say g'day, how you going? And my name is Glenn, and today I just purchased a lot of banknotes. Now, some of these I probably don't know what they are. Actually, I probably know what all of them are, just don't know the values. And the first one I got when I got out the actual packet is current banknote from the United States. And as you can see, it's torn. The serial numbers, not really that special. And this one's case. This is from the Texas Federal Reserve Bank. So the Federal Reserve, I think it's made up of 13 different banks that are united together. And so this issues banknotes in that area. $1. There's Washington. Yeah, it's nice to have people part of the slave era. Coat of arms, or the emblem of the United States. Here's a pyramid with Lord Bowles' spaceship going up the top. So that's, the design's not too bad. They can probably update it and put more colour in it. But that one worth $1. Okay, next one, banknote from Nepal. Here's the king that was assassinated in, I think, 2000. I can't remember his name. His brother's guy in Andrew took over and eventually led to Nepal becoming a republic. So he's a temple. So this is a 1 rupee. So 1 rupee is currently the smallest coin they issued in Nepal. I think the exchange rate is about 40 rupees, it's $1 Australian dollar. This one has 2 deers. Not too sure what the animals are, but this one's probably not really worth that much, probably $1 at most. Okay, so what I actually purchased this banknote for, lot 4 is this Switzerland 20 francs. So this is a nice, looks like a bit like a sunflower, although the leaves on it indicates, and the actual petals on the flower indicates it's not a sunflower, probably something similar. But it's a nice 20 franc banknote. This one is from 1965. And the exchange rate is about $25. So in 1965, someone kept this. But, these were demonetized, so they lost all their value. In 1965, 20 francs is probably equivalent to about 200 to 300 francs now. So that is... Look at this guy. Don't know who that is. But anyway, that one is going to the collection. So that's part of the series from the 1960s. And they go up from 10 francs to 1,000 francs. So that's quite nice. Then next banknote we have the Philippines 10 pesos. So that's a coin. So they don't use the 10 peso banknote anymore. And this is a church. And it says Shimbaran Parasoin. I know I butchered the Tagalog, which is the language of the Philippines. Sorry, it's probably going to bite my head off. So here we have probably one of, so Mabini, probably one of the leaders of independence. This one's a star note. Very interesting. So Philippines does issue star notes, and I'm not too sure if these are really common, so I need to look that up. But star note, quite nice. This should have 1 or 2 letter prefix, so that's also interesting. So I need to research that one. Okay, the next one we have is an Australian dollar. So this is 1979 series. I think that's nice. Just can't remember the signature. Anyway. So as you can see, it's quite damaged. This is pretty much only worth $1. So rough exchange rate or inflation rate is probably about $7 or $8 since 1979. So that one's probably only good to actually take to the bank and exchange for a coin. Then we have a 1 ringgit from the 1970s, no, 1980s I think, to 90s. And this has the, can't remember his name, but he's the first king of independence. And this side's pretty common. Independence Monument with the flag of Malaysia. Quite nice. I think there's another Malaysian banknote. Okay, next one we have. So, if I don't know the value, pretty much won't say the value. Okay, next one we have a current banknote of South Korea. 1,000 won, the smallest banknote. Exchange rate's probably about $1.30, something like that. Yeah, we have a beautiful watercolor, so it looks a bit like a Chinese water painting or just artwork. And on this side we have, oh, I don't know this guy. Can't remember everything about banknotes. So this one's probably only worth face value in exchange rate. Next one we have, I don't have this banknote, a Greek 500 drachma. So because I haven't researched any of the banknotes, so really I don't know the actual value, but I think this one has a value of about $5 to $10 in this condition. And this one is from 1968. So the 500 banknote, they pretty much used up into 2000. And even though in 2000 they did issue 500 drachma coins, they were all Olympic coins. So that's quite nice, and I need to look that one up. Okay, next one we have is a Israeli banknote. So has one of the gates, I think, of Jerusalem. And then we have probably a guy, something to do with Israeli independence. This one's 1978, so 10 lira. So it's quite nice. So these would have been exchanged for 1 new lira. So that's the value of that banknote. And Israeli banknotes are a bit expensive, so I'm not too sure about the value of this one, so I need to look that up. Okay, so here's the 5 ringgit. So the current exchange rate's, I think, about 3 ringgit for an Australian dollar. This one's a bit of a tear. Not too sure what that is. Looks like glue or something, probably blue tack. So that can probably come off. But it's pretty worn anyway. And here we have Instang Negara, probably Parliament House or the residence of the king. So not all Malaysian states have their own kings. Some of them have more of a republic government. And here, as you can see, these banknotes are pretty generic. So these are 2 different governors, so 2 different time periods. As you can see, the size is different, so is the colour. Okay, another Australian $1 banknote. Yeah, so this one is in better condition, so it'll be worth more than $1, probably $3 or $4. So yeah, this is Johnson and Son, so this is the last prefix. So in uncirculated condition, they cost about $4 to $5. So this one's probably $2 to $3. So skip the value I gave before. And yeah, that looks like night and stone. Anyway, yeah, probably just worth taking to the bank. Okay, next one we have a Romanian 50,000 loi. So there's the skull monument. So that's a natural weathering process. I think it's in sandstone or something like that, but it looks like a skull. Could have been a carving in the past, but I'm not too sure. And you have George Ensku, has his birth and death date. And obviously he might have been a botanist based on the plants. Or maybe each of these banknotes has a plant. So in 2005, these were, so this is 1996. In 2005, they were exchanged with 1 euro at a rate of 10,000 equals 1. So this is the current banknote of 5 loi, has the same design. So it's quite nice. I don't have that banknote. And the next 2 we have, 2 banknotes, Australian dollar, face value. And if you don't know, these banknotes were replaced by a coin in 1984, the 1 Australian dollar. So there's a coat of arms, has so this artwork's by a Yolngu artist, and it's all indigenous artwork. Here we have a banknote. So I think this is from the 70s. If you look at the other banknote, yeah, I think this is from the 80s, 90s. This is from the 70s, 80s. Could be a bit wrong, but as you can see, yeah, quite nice. Governors are different. Has the same. All Malaysian banknotes have the same person on the front, even the current ones. So yeah, this one's pretty generic. Doesn't really have. This might have been a coat of arms of one of the actual states, or maybe the coat of arms of the Bank Negara, Malaysia. Ooh, one of my favourite countries I like to collect in South America. So this is Paraguay. One guarani. These are about $4 or $5 in uncirculated condition. So this banknote's not really worth much. They were first issued in the 1960 sometimes, but they all have the date 1952. I think 1962 these were issued. Currently, the lowest valued coin is 50 guarani, so these are really worth not much. They can't buy anything, and they're only really worth collecting value. Okay, the next one we have is another 10 lira from Israel. Looks like we have the Essene scrolls. Maybe, yeah, it might be some old, probably the Torah, but they've actually found in these beautiful pottery. And here we have modern scientists. So this is 1958, and it had, where's the other Israeli banknote? Okay, so these two are the same denomination, same value, just issued in a different time period. So both 10 shekels. And as you can see, they did change their banknotes. But the 1958 is probably a bit more of an expensive banknote. That I'll need to look up. So that's very interesting. Okay, then we have 5 shillings. So those are probably a bit expensive. This condition probably worth $10, I'd say. 5 shillings, the last banknote issued by Fiji in 1964. Obviously, the 1 penny is the lowest banknote they've issued in the Second World War. Queen Elizabeth II, coat of arms. And when they decimalised, this was equivalent to 50 cents, in which they issued a banknote pretty much the same design. So 5 shillings, quite nice. Pretty easy to get to 5 shillings. Then we have a 50,000 pesos of Mexico. So this is during the inflationary period. Obviously it's been stuck to something and ripped. It has pinholes. And he has Quacotolmec. It would have been probably, could have been Nahuatl or Aztec. Probably a king or something like that. But I'm not too familiar. So this one's 1989. Obviously, when Mexico revalued at 1,000 to 1, it's probably equivalent to 50 pesos currently, which has an exchange rate about $2.50. So it's quite nice. And is that Quetzalcoatl? Don't know. Not too familiar with this banknote, but it's going into the collection. Quite nice. And the last one we have is the Yugoslav hyperinflation banknote. So this is a 5 million dinar issued in 93. So the different banknote series from Yugoslavia, you need to base it on the date. And obviously this one has something to do with electricity, hydroelectric dam, and Nikola Tesla. So this is the guy in which Tesla company is named after. And quite nice. And a bit about the currency at this time period. And as you can see, the watermark is also Mr. Tesla. So that is these banknotes. I hope it helps you a little bit with your banknote collection. But in the future, hopefully I can get more information on them. Thank you very much and have awesome banknote and coin collecting time. Thank you and goodbye.